Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Grape fam. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this week's weekly recap. I'm your host, Felix, and let's jump right into it. We've had a real strong week for the protocol. It's beautiful to see this level of recovery following what was honestly a pretty ugly week last week. There's no need to go too much more over that, but really this picture tells us everything we need to know. We can see that the peg has recovered tremendously well since a little bit of a dip during last week's crash, and we're already up over 20% on the peg token, so that's beautiful to see. The TVL of the protocol is also expanding nicely. And we have seen a couple tweaks to the expansion of Grape now that we are well over that 2 million circulating supply mark, heading into 2.25 million circulating supply. Expansion per epoch has been reduced from 1% to 0.5%. And that's reflected and has already actually been reflected in the winery daily APR here. And you can see it now reflected in the docs if you want to go read the full Grape docs on our expansion schedule. We started at 4.5% at the protocol's genesis, and now we're tapering it down to prevent inflation of Grape and maintain a healthy Grape price. And as you can see, Grape is at $1.16. Wine is hovering just above $180. And for those holding the remaining just over 13,000 G bonds, you guys are entitled to redeem 128 worth of Grape. So that's a healthy reward there for those members of our community who supported the protocol during our time under peg, which was only, I think, about 3 epochs. But if you got in there and got some bonds, good on you, and you're going to see a healthy return on that. Jumping into the farms, we can see that the APR on the LP1 is sitting just about 0.69% daily. Nice. LP2 Wine Mim is at a similar level, 0.65% daily. And we can see that LP3 Grape Wine is sitting at a similar level of 0.65% daily. Alright, so moving on to our NFT collection here. This has been an interesting week for the winery collection. We can see that the floor price has kind of rocketed a little bit to 4.5 AVAX. I believe it was around 2 AVAX when I made last week's video. So definitely, a strong adoption, uptick in people buying goon sacks, just everything from the winery collection. And I think that represents people interacting with our new NFT reward estimator, and also just understanding that you really only need one NFT from the winery collection to be eligible for these airdrops. And once you have at least one NFT from the winery collection, you can come in to the airdrop calculator and you can see that each one of your nodes is going to add you a ticket. So if you are a big node holder, it could be really beneficial for you to have just at least one NFT from the winery collection. Obviously now they are getting more expensive, so you got to weigh that decision up yourself. But if you come over to this calculator, you can see the estimated rewards for how many tickets you're eligible for. And as LB mentioned, this is likely a little bit of an underestimate. So I have some talk this week about upcoming updates. We've mentioned lending and borrowing previously in our videos. That launch is coming closer and closer. And essentially, I want to remind you guys of basically the most exciting function to me of this program is going to be that you're going to be able to deposit either Grape tokens or Grape MIM LP tokens as collateral for your debt, and obviously those will still earn rewards, either Grape single stake rewards if you're just doing Grape, or LP1 farm rewards if you're doing Grape MIM, and that can actually increase the health of your debt and continue to earn money on your collateral while you have a loan out against it. So that's a really nice kind of beautiful feature for the community who wants to take advantage of depositing either Grape or Grape MIM LP. Then we have the Liquid Capital presale coming up. That's also going to be a great opportunity for the Grape community to buy Liquid Capital tokens at a discounted presale price, with some of the money from those Liquid Capital presale purchases going straight back to buying and burning Grape tokens. So you'll be able to make that purchase on the Grape website, and a portion of all the money spent on the Liquid Capital presale on the Grape affiliate link will go to supporting the Grape peg. And finally, we have the Play to Earn game coming up. Development's coming along nicely for that. Stay tuned for more specific updates. But we do already know that the Play to Earn game will come out with its own NFT collection. That's not going to be expansion of the existing winery collection. That will be a separate NFT collection that is associated with the Play to Earn game. And finally, we have a reminder from the team for any of our friendly whales out in the waters that the DAO is available to make OTC buys and sells on grape and wine. In general, we recommend that anytime you'd be making a buy or a sell that would be having over a 1% price impact, that's a good time to contact the DAO, contact one of the team members, and set up an over-the-counter trade. Another interesting question that we got from Samurai Jack actually was about the health of the meme coin. Obviously, we've seen some stablecoin fears in the market recently, so it's a good question. How do we see the future of the meme peg? Ultimately, it's good to remember that meme is not collateralized the same way that UST was by a coin released by the meme or Abracadabra protocol. In fact, meme is collateralized by Ethereum, USDC, and also the YearnFi coin. So those are all hard assets that can be liquidated if necessary to hold the peg of MIM. So you can learn a little bit more about MIM by following this link in our article to another Medium article that explains how MIM's collateralized. But essentially, because it is decentralized and it relies on various individual depositors, the peg can move a little bit more than a centralized coin like USDC or USDT, where all the reserves are held by one organization that facilitates redemptions. But overall, the assets that collateralize MIM, which is again over collateralized by these assets, are hard assets like USDC and USDT, those centralized coins, and obviously Ethereum and YearnFi. So essentially, we're pretty confident in the peg of MIM, and we have seen it hold up through some tough conditions over the past 2 to 3 years. We did have an interesting question this week regarding the audits that we initially got for Grape Finance, and LBR Dev was happy to share that he paid about $3,000 USD to have the project's code audited back in January. But the big reminder here is that audits and KYC are not necessarily the be-all end-all of security in DeFi, and they're definitely not the be-all end-all of longevity of a project. So there's a lot of other important factors that you're going to want to look into when you're evaluating a project. So it's just a reminder from the Grape team to our investors that not every project that has an audit is one that you should invest heavily in. On the other hand, we are happy to have our project audited and our contracts renounced. You can read the full audit report if you go to the Grape website. It's available in the security section of our docs. And I also want to provide a little bit more numerical insight into a comment that our community manager Nikki made, which is that he's really excited, and I definitely share his feelings, to see that Grape is really serving its purpose as a protocol that can continue to grow in a bull market or a bear market. So obviously we saw a strong crash, or perhaps a weak crash, depending on which side of it you're on, in the crypto markets this week. And that's represented by these heavy red candles that took Grape from the mid 200s all the way down to the low 70s at the low there. And then we just saw a really strong recovery as Grape repegged, which we can see here on the Grape chart. And we're just seeing a really nice, quick recovery there, and then a slow grind to the upward side. So it's really great to see, the community continuing to trust the team, the community continuing to grow, and all of our investors just hopefully seeing a healthy return on their investment here. On a TA note, it looks like we see a level of resistance here over the past week or so, potentially flipping now into support over this weekend. We'll see what happens, but I would not be surprised to see wine enter back into this 2-300 range, and who knows where it could break from there. That's going to wrap up a short but much sweeter weekly recap this week. I just want to make a final reminder for everybody that if you want to check out the Grape project in more detail, our docs are always available at the bottom of our website. And if you're interested in meeting some like-minded investors, you can come to the Discord or the Telegram groups, and we'd love to meet you and discuss some strategies. For now, I just want to thank you guys for tuning into the weekly recap, and as always, bull market or bear market, will be here, so I'll see you next week.